So sit in a comfortable cross-legged position, and while you're here, just notice which leg you have in front naturally. So that's like your dominant leg in this sitting position. Make a note of that because we're gonna alternate eventually. All right, so first we're just gonna start as always by dropping in, just feeling where you are today, noticing how you feel today, just checking in with the body and the mind, see what's going on with you, how you feel. And immediately start syncing up with the breath. So just notice the quality of your breath, try to be mindful about it, take deeper breaths. Notice your inhale, notice your exhale. And so today when we are going through this lesson, this class, when I give you the cues for each pose, I want you to really work within whatever is working for your body today. So any opportunity that you have to focus on transitions or to personalize a pose or a movement, I highly recommend you do that. So we're gonna start by just very gently, mindfully making small circles with the nose, taking our neck through rotation. And here you can start to do exactly that. So just find what feels good. Remember that all the sensations that you're feeling are just communications from your body to your brain and vice versa. So just notice everything that's going on. You can start to draw bigger circles with the nose. Find what feels good in your range of motion. Try not to force any movement, but meet those edges. Just taking this time to take on the role of the observer. Starting to notice, starting to be present, and just accepting where your body is today, where your mind is today. Feels good and you're ready, you can reverse that circle. Do the same thing. So this pose, this seated posture should be easy and restful for you. So get grounded through the lower body. Just notice, start anchoring through your sits bones. Letting your hip flexors and the glutes relax. Just checking in, dropping in. If it feels good, you can go straight up and down. Just draw a line with your nose. Really tucking the chin at the bottom. And taking your gaze all the way up. And then maybe a little left to right, right to left. Make it yours. Just remember to be accepting of wherever you are. And remember, as always, when the poses get difficult, don't get frustrated. Don't get overwhelmed. That starts with your inner dialogue. All right, so when you're ready, you can bring the palms to the tops of the thighs, just open them up. And then make sure your posture is nice and stacked, head over heart, heart over pelvis. The spine is long, all the way from the crown of your head to the tip of your tail, anchored through the sits bones. And again, remember, relax those hip flexors, relax the glutes. Nice, easy posture here. So your hands should really be rested. And when we start these little shoulder rotations, you might even feel your hands drag across the tops of your thighs. Just let your body move naturally. And again, we're exploring that range of motion here, what feels good for you in the traps, in the anterior delts, just rolling through the shoulders. Notice any sounds, sensations, sticking points. Just make a note. right, so when you're feeling nice and loose, we're gonna do a little crossbody stretch with by sending the right arm out in front and then all the way across. Bring that left hand in, left arm braces against the right, pull inward, stretching through the upper back. And remember to stay synced up with your breath. So every big inhale is a deeper stretch in the upper back. Every exhale helps you bring that arm a little closer to your chest. Mindful of the seated posture, sitting nice and tall. And again, if you want to find some small organic movement in the neck, just explore those sensations and what you've got going on in the traps, the shoulders, the upper back. And when you got what you need on that side, you can relax, bring it back to center, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So left hand comes across, right arm braces and pulls it in, sitting up nice and tall, stretching through the upper back. My left hand is engaged, my fingers are extended, not crunching through the neck, just mindful of everything. Doing that big stretch on your inhale. Pulling your arm a little closer on the exhale. When you feel good, you can come back to center. Then we're going to do a little torso twist. So start by reaching the hands all the way up, reach as high as you can. Then stretch, extend a little bit longer through the spine, reach higher. And on your next exhale, you're gonna slowly twist to the right. Right hand comes behind you, left hand comes to the top of your right leg. Plant that right palm, sit up, lift, and twist. Maybe look back over your right shoulder. I like to send my gaze upward and downward here and just kind of like tuck my chin a little bit. Stretch through that left trap. So find what feels good. Big stretch on your inhale. And on your next exhale, slowly, mindfully, with control, come back to center. One more time, you're gonna reach as high as you can. And then a little bit higher, stretch all the way up, all the way up. Big inhale, and then on your next exhale, slowly turn to the left. Right hand comes to the top of left knee, left hand comes behind, plant that palm, sit up, lift, and twist. And maybe look back over your left shoulder. Big stretch on your next inhale, big stretch. Sink a little deeper on your next exhale. And then slowly, mindfully, with control, come back to center. Bring the palms together at the heart. You're gonna oppose them, so just pressing into the palms. Press your elbows outward, close your eyes if it feels good. Tuck the chin, sit up nice and tall, and sync up with your breath. So you're just focusing on the sound of your breath. And just noticing what you feel. If you want to tuck your chin here and rest your nose or your lips on your fingertips, it can feel really great through the back of the neck. And then when you've got what you need, be mindful of the transition. Come right back to center. Palms facing upward on the knees. Take your time getting there. Again, check in, feeling centered, feeling grounded. Really nice and stable. We're gonna one more time reach up as high as you can. All the way up, reach, reach, reach. Extend a little higher. And then slowly with control, palms facing me, you're gonna bend forward over your crossed legs and pretend like you're looking down into a reflective pool. And you're just gonna continue to fold until your hands reach the ground. And just notice where you are there. Actively draw your sits bones, your hip bones down to the mat. And if you want to press into your fingertips to get a little deeper stretch through the upper back to anchor your hips a little bit more, you can do that. If you want to bring your forearms to the ground, if that's available to you, you can interlace your fingertips and just let the head and neck relax. And just take a few deep breaths all the way down to the lower back. So you might feel this really intensely through the low back, or maybe through the right hip. So just feel free to explore. And again, if you have your hands out and you want to just find a nice, easy, organic sway from left to right, you're just kind of testing the limits of your flexibility, mobility, and breaking up that myofascia that builds up in areas that we don't use often. So if it feels good, then listen to your body and do that. If it feels good just to rest in a folded posture with your head down, you can do that too. So we'll take one more deep breath. And then on your exhale, you're going to walk the fingertips away from you and then out to the left one at a time. So just small steps, find your range of motion. And then same thing, you can melt your heart down, let your head hang. Getting a really deep stretch through that right hip and right side body. And then with your fingertips pressed into the floor, you're gonna slowly creep those right fingertips a little further away. So breathe deep into that big right hip, right side body stretch. And fold a little deeper on your exhale. Take one more big cycle of breath. And then we'll slowly walk it back through center, little steps, using the fingertips to lead, and all the way over to the right. So let your heart sink down, let your head and neck relax. Maybe tuck your chin towards your chest, anchoring through the hips. And then walk those left fingertips just a little bit further. So meet your edge, use your big inhale to stretch to the upper back, all the way through that left side body. One more big inhale and exhale. And walk it back through center. And then with your hands extended out in front of you, you're going to very slowly, starting with the tailbone, plant the sits bones, roll up one vertebrae at a time. Slow, mindful, with control. Pulling the low ribs inward, stacking the spine for a nice, tall, seated posture. So unroll all the way up. Chin up, gaze comes up, shoulders roll back. Good, and then we're gonna reverse our seat. So take that other foot, the left foot for me, in front of the right. This might feel a little uncomfortable, a little awkward, so find what feels comfortable for you with that left leg or non-dominant leg in front. So when you're there, we're gonna inhale, send the fingertips all the way up toward the ceiling, reach. Pretend like you're grasping, you're pulling the air, trying to get a little higher, a little longer, really stretching through the spine. And then exhale, palms face me, slowly fold forward over that reflective pool, all the way down till your fingertips reach the ground. And then just take a second to get set up. Ground through the sits bones, get anchored, relax the hip flexors, relax the glutes. Find that either extended hand placement with the fingertips pressing into the floor, or maybe you come down to the forearms and just interlace and just take a few deep breaths. Bringing awareness to anything that your body's trying to tell you. Observing and accepting that. When you're ready, reach the hands back out, press into the fingertips, and slowly with control, we're going to walk them off to the right. And then again, let your heart, chest sink downward, let your head and neck relax. Notice any new sensations, particularly in the left hip. Bring your awareness there, but don't be overwhelmed. And then walk those left fingertips a little further out. Let your breath expand through the upper back and bring you deeper into that fold. Good. When you feel ready, you can walk the fingertips back to center. And even slower this time, plant the sits bones, start with the tailbone, slowly curl up, stacking one vertebra at a time, until you're all the way back up in your great seated posture, nice and comfortable in the lower body. Relax through the hip flexors and glutes. Roll your shoulders back, tuck the chin, gazes forward. You're gonna bring palms back together at the heart and then interlace your fingertips. And then just open up the palms toward me, press out and away. Really, again, doming through the upper back. Think cat pose in the upper body. Big stretch through the wrists and forearms as well. Good, and then on your next inhale, you're gonna reach up, press high and away, and then bring your hands, keep them interlaced, bring them down behind your head. Support your neck, support the head. If you want to extend your thumbs and give yourself a little neck massage, it might feel great. And then you're just going to try to twist to your right gently. Notice your threshold. No, don't force, but just use your core to see what your range of motion is on both sides. So you take a couple breaths. See if you can sync up with your breath for this movement. Just noticing what you feel. And then when you're ready, come back to seated posture. And then we're going to come forward onto all fours. So just roll forward, center yourself on your mat, get comfortable, get there however you need to. We'll start off in tabletop position. So knees are underneath the hips, palms are underneath your shoulders, spine is nice and long from the crown of your head to the tip of your tail. Tops of your feet are pressed into the mat. Okay, and from here we're going to rotate the wrists outward and away and bring the fingertips inward toward your body. So you don't have to come all the way in, and maybe they won't. If they're pointed outward a little bit, that's fine. Be gentle, be mindful, be present. And then once you're there, maybe you already know what to do. We're just going to draw some small circles one way. You're just feeling what's going on in the wrists and the forearms. And then you can reverse those circles, go the other way. Cool, then we'll bring the palms slowly with control back to that tabletop position. Fingertips are pointing toward the top edge of your mat. Keep the knees planted, keep the hips level. You're gonna bring your right hand to the center of the mat and then bring your left fingertips to draw along the edge of that arm all the way up toward the ceiling, opening up through the left side body, the left chest. Good. See what your range is, find what you feel, notice what you feel. I just cracked my back. Okay, then you're gonna wiggle the left fingertips and slowly, mindfully bring them back down toward the mat, underneath the right arm and all the way through. Thread the needle. Come down onto your left tricep, left rear delt. Right hand should go underneath your shoulder or elbow, wherever you can support yourself. Extend that left arm out long. So you're gonna really get a big stretch through the upper back and that left shoulder. If you want to extend your right hand out toward the top right corner of your mat, you can do that. Find what feels good for you today, especially in the upper back. If you want to bring your right palm to your lower back, you can do that. And if you want to try some shoulder mobility, you can bring both palms together on the floor and then just open up that right arm toward the ceiling. So just see what your range of motion is like. Notice what you feel, find what feels good. And if you're feeling super bendy, you might take that right hand to the left thigh for a little bind. So just breathe into that upper back stretch. Notice what you feel, notice your inner dialogue. And then wherever you are, bring that right hand back down underneath the right shoulder and press into the mat to slowly unravel. So when you get back to tabletop, take your time, get there how you get there, make the transition your own. You're gonna plant the left hand in the center of the mat. We're gonna do the same thing on the right. So right fingertips will trace along the left arm, open up through the chest. Big, big stretch, big twist. And then take that right hand under, thread the needle, come all the way down to the right tricep, right shoulder, and extend that right arm. Left hand goes underneath the left shoulder, just to support you. So take your time with your hand there to figure out what feels best for your upper back. And then you can extend that left palm outward toward the top left corner of the mat if it feels good. You can bring your left hand to your lower back if that feels good. Or if you're super bendy, take that right arm all the way around. That left arm all the way around to the top of the right thigh for a twist, a bind. Or you can bring both palms together on the floor. Just open up for that shoulder mobility. Try to anchor through the left shin, the left knee. And then slowly, with control, when you're ready, start by planting that left palm under the left elbow, left shoulder, and and pressing into it to unravel. And then from here, we'll bring the big toes into touch. Send the knees as wide as your mat. And then send the hips backward for extended child's pose. You might anchor through the fingertips just to bring your sits bones closer to the mat and to keep that big stretch through the upper back. Take a couple more deep breaths, really active through the fingertips, through the arms, through the upper back. Listening to the sound of your breath, noticing what you feel. And when you're ready, we're going to bring it back up to tabletop. So palms will be planted underneath the shoulders, knees will come back in under the hips. Shins are still pressed into the mat. And we're just going to do a little spinal flexion and extension. So a little cat-cow. So on your inhale, tilt the pelvis, drop the belly, look up, really stretching through that front line. And on your exhale, press away from your mat through the palms, pressing into the fingertips, bringing the low ribs in to meet the spine. Exhale all the way. And then on your inhale, again, articulate all the way through the spine. So start with the tailbone, tilt the pelvis, extend through that front line, breathe deep, big stretch. And then sync up with your breath. On your exhale, ribs curl inward, press away from the mat, chin to chest. So now you move at your own pace according to your breath. Stay present, stay focused on the breath. And then this is a great opportunity to find any easy organic movement. So I kind of like to draw circles with my hips and just move around here. Listen to what your body is telling you. And if you can find a way to incorporate and stay synced up with your breath, then that's fantastic. I also like to bump my hips to one side, look back at the opposite foot, and then same thing on the other side. Just stretching further through the hip flexors and the glutes. And then when you're good with that, when you've had enough, come back to tabletop, curl the toes under, and then we're just gonna pick up the knees for just a few inches, for just a few breaths. Think cat pose in the upper body, press away from your mat, really digging into both palms evenly, drawing the low ribs in to meet your back body. Notice that core engagement and just notice what you feel. Good, just one more big inhale, one more big exhale, and on that exhale you can lower the knees to the ground. All right, so if your wrists are feeling fatigued, you can come back onto your heels or sit however is comfortable and just roll through some wrist mobility, do some rotations, interlace the fingertips, press away, maybe do prayer hands, point the fingers toward you, point the fingers away from you. Just take that tension out of your wrists if it feels good. And then when you're ready, with those with those toes curled under, this time you're gonna start, imagine that the hips are leading and send your hips up high and back, bring your heels toward the mat, like you're moving over an invisible wall to downward facing dog. So take a second here, do a little quick body scan, sync up with the breath. Your elbow creases should be kind of facing toward the front edge of the mat, so that may mean that your fingers are rotated slightly outward. Your heels might not come to the ground right now, and that's okay. If your hamstrings are feeling tight, you can bend the knees, walk through that downward dog, Find what you need. It might be super tight, or you might feel great here. If you do feel great here and you want to try a little added twist, you can plant that left palm, put the pressure in both feet evenly, lift up your right hand, and then bring it to the outside of your left ankle, calf, thigh, wherever it lands, wherever it reaches, and just twist and look underneath that left armpit. Good, and then bring the right palm back to the mat, and we're going to do the same thing on the left. So pressure through both feet evenly, keep that right palm planted, lift up the left. When you feel balanced, bring that left hand to the outside of the right leg, either the ankle, the calf, the knee, wherever. And then just look underneath your right armpit toward the ceiling. Good, from here we'll come back to left palm on the earth. And if you need to widen your feet, you can, but we're gonna take small steps using our fingertips to come up to a standing forward fold. So if you need to bend your legs, if your hamstrings are tight, that's fine, you can do that. Otherwise, we're here in this fold. And when you get comfortable there, again, an opportunity to find easy, organic movement. So if you want to sway left to right, you can do that. If you want to clasp your opposite elbows with your opposite hands and just let your head and neck relax, you can do that. We're working toward full extension in the knees, but whatever your range is today, just listen to your body. And we're working toward bringing the abdomen to the tops of the thighs, but again, just listen to your body, work with where you are. And then when you feel good, come back to center and we're gonna halfway lift. So slowly, mindfully, with control, drag those fingertips along the front edge of the body, the legs. Bring them all the way up to the tops of the thighs and then reach the crown of your head and to the tip of your tail really long. So long through the back. Feeling supported. And then slowly bring it back down to that fold. All right, now we're gonna walk the hands out of it and send the feet back for a plank pose. So meet me there when you're ready. If you're fatigued, you can come to the knees, that's fine. If you're in plank, think cat pose through the upper body, really pressing away from the yoga mat. Full extension at the hips, so make sure you're not bending in the middle. And then slowly, mindfully, we're gonna lower to the belly, all the way down. Send your toes out toward the back edge of your mat, hands stay underneath the shoulders. And then you're gonna press up, make sure your glutes are relaxed, trying to reach full extension at the elbows, pressing into the pubic bone, pressing into the hip bone, and toes are pointing toward the back edge of the mat, not toward one another. Good, so on your exhale, slowly just melt back down to the earth, and we're gonna sync up with the breath and move like a wave. So on your inhale, start by tucking the chin, slowly raising all the way up till you crest on that natural inhale. Exhale, melt it back down to the earth. Good, inhale, same thing. Keep those toes pointed toward the back edge. Glutes are relaxed, working toward full extension at the elbows. Exhale, melt it back down. A couple more times, synced up with your breath. Find that natural, easy, organic movement. Let your body tell you what it needs today. Next time you come down, you're gonna make sure that the palms are underneath the shoulders, curl the toes under, and then press back up to plank. And then downward facing dog. So again, while you're in downward dog, sync up with your breath, take a second, relax, find what feels good. A couple of deep breaths in, deep breaths out. All right, so this time we're gonna plant the left leg, keep that left foot planted, kick the right leg up high. And then bring that all the way toward the right knee. Just try to touch. Kick it all the way back up. Nice long line through the right leg, and then bring that right knee toward the left elbow. Touch. Squeeze and lift. Kick that right leg back up one more time. And then bring it all the way through center. Get there how you get there. Plant your right foot and frame it with both hands. All right, so we're working from the low lunge, right foot planted, framed by both hands, and then you're gonna keep that left palm planted on the mat and just take your right fingertips along the right outside edge of your leg, open up through the chest, reach toward the ceiling, big twist. And then bring it back down, frame that foot. Then we'll lower the back knee. And if you need to walk it back a bit further, you can do that. I'm gonna roll through that front heel for a runner's stretch. So let your fingertips kind of drag to where they do. You don't wanna sit back too far. Ideally, your hip should be just over your knee or your knee just under your hip. And then flex your right toes toward your face. If this leg is not at full extension, that's okay. If you need to bend, that's fine. Just listen to your hamstrings, listen to your knee, and find a good spot for you today. All right, so then we'll roll back through that right heel, frame that right foot again. Pick that knee up off the mat, and then send the right toes back for plank. Take a second, find your breath, find your strong plank. And then slowly lower to the belly. Uncurl the toes, press up to cobra. Exhale, come back to the mat. And then back up to plank and downward dog. So be mindful of your transitions. Get there how you get there. And then just take a couple breaths. If you want to pedal it out, sway through the hips, you can do that. Listen to your body. All right, when you've caught your breath, you're going to plant the right foot, kick the left leg up high. And then bring that left knee to left elbow. Just tap it. Think cat pose in the upper body. Inhale, extend that left leg up high. Exhale, bring left knee to right elbow. Just a little tap, very gentle. Inhale, send the left leg up high. This time we're gonna squeeze and lift it all the way through to the top edge of your mat. Go ahead and plant the left foot. Adjust if you need to, get comfortable. Do what you do. All right. So again, if you want to find easy movement in poses like these, you can just rock back and forth. Same thing in a plank pose. There's a lot of ways to do that, and we'll explore that. But from here, you're going to plant the right palm, drag those left fingertips along the outside edge of the left leg, rotate, open up through the chest, reach fingertips toward the sky. And then bring that left hand back down, frame that left foot. Bring right knee to the mat. And if you need to walk your right toes back a little bit, you can. And then we're gonna roll through that front left heel. Working toward full extension in the left knee, but anywhere you are is fine. So if you need to bend, that's fine. Try to flex your toes toward your face. Good, and then roll back through that left foot, frame the left foot, pick that right knee up off the mat, send the left toes back. And while we're here in plank, really quickly, I'll show you, you can rock back and forth again. You can roll toward the left side of your mat, roll toward the right side of your mat. There are little nuances in movement, even in plank, that can add to it. On your exhale, lower all the way to the belly. Extend the toes out long. Press up to cobra. Relax the glutes. Reach the toes toward the back edge of the mat. Full extension at the elbows. And relax it all the way back down. Press up to plank. And then downward dog. All right, so take a deep breath here, and then we're going to walk the hands back into that standing forward fold. And then on your next inhale, you're going to halfway lift, drag the fingertips along the front of the body. This time, send your hands out behind you like an airplane. Try to put your palms downward as if you're pressing onto an invisible surface or a literal bookshelf. And then melt the hands back down. Walk it back out to downward dog. Catch your breath. And then you're going to bring that left foot to the center of the mat. Plant that left foot. Kick the right leg up high. Bring that right leg all the way through. Frame it with both hands. This time, make sure you look forward, open up through the chest, roll the shoulders back. If you want to find that little rock, that little organic movement, do that. And then leading with the fingertips, I'm going to send them forward and all the way up to a high lunge. So from here, take that right hand, grab the left wrist. And we're just going to bend toward the right, find your balance, squeezing the inner thighs inward toward the midline. Big stretch to the left side body. And then back to your high lunge. Nice tall posture. Nice bend in that front leg. And then bring it back down. Frame that right foot. Send it back. Plank pose. Lower to cobra. Feet out long. Follow your breath. Melt back to the mat. Press up to plank. And then downward facing dog. All right, once we meet in downward dog, we're going to plant the right foot, kick the left leg up high. Bring that left leg all the way up and through. Frame it with both hands. Maybe you rock forward, you rock back. And then when that left knee is over the left ankle, roll your shoulders back, look forward, lead with the fingertips, and bring them all the way up toward the ceiling, high lunge. And then this time you're going to grab the right wrist with the left hand, lean toward the left, drawing the thighs, the inner thighs inward toward the midline, stretching through the right side body, nice and balanced. Generous bend in that front knee. Then release, come back to center, and release the hands all the way down. Frame that left foot. Send it back for plank. Lower to the belly. Press up to cobra. And then melt it all the way back down. Okay, so from here, we're going to come onto the forearms. And Sanjana Wallace, you know this as the recline twist in the Army. Karana, we've done this before, and this transition is for you. So you're going to start by taking the left leg up next to you, sort of like a half froggy pose. So bring your left knee as high as you can. Just get comfortable there, opening up through the left hip, pointing the right toes toward the back edge of the mat. Nice and comfortable, breathing into that left hip. And then use your left palm to support you, and you're going to extend that right arm up and just come down on it for now. So when you feel comfortable there, you're going to bring that right arm out here. See if you can let your head rest. And then using your left hand, you're just going to roll back And extend that left hand all the way out to the left. So both arms are open. Left leg is now across the body. Take the right hand to the outside of the left knee and let the weight of that just pull through the glute, little spinal twist. Sync up with your breath. And then leading with the left hand, we're going to come back to center. Press that left palm in, unravel. Come back to your belly. We'll start again with the forearms on the mat. So same thing on the other side. So bring your right knee up. You're going to open up for like a half froggy pose. Just bring that right knee as high as it'll go. Foot's resting gently on the mat. An opener through the right hip flexors. And then when you're ready, extend that left arm out long, come down onto it. Press your right palm into the mat if you need to. And when you feel good there, bring that left arm out to your, what would be your right. And we're gonna roll back onto our backs and extend that right arm all the way out to the right. If you need to stack your foot on top of the inside of your left knee, you can do that if it's more comfortable, or put that right foot just on the ground. And you're gonna take your left hand to the outside of right knee and just let that weight pull through the glutes. Keep your right rear delt anchored to the floor, open through that right chest. So you're getting both the torso twist and that glute stretch. Alright, when you feel good, we're going to slowly, however it works for you, just come to your back on the mat. Then we're going to bring the knees into the chest, squeeze them in. Hang on to that right knee, send the left leg out long. Stretch that left leg, pull our right knee tight, and then switch. Bring both knees back in. If you want to, bring your hands to the outside of your feet and open up through the hamstrings, through the knee for a happy baby pose. You can do that. You can do a single stirrup posture if it's too much pressure. Just do one leg at a time. And then when you're ready, send the legs out long. You can either open up the palms to the left and to the right and close your eyes if it feels good, or gently rest your hands anywhere on your body where it feels good. Just want to relax through the whole body. Again, noticing the quality of your breath. Staying mindful about the breath, staying present in your body, noticing what you feel. Just letting the nutrients of your practice settle in. Take a second to feel gratitude for your abilities, for your mindset, for showing up today. Take a second to feel good about prioritizing self-care and mindfulness. And bring that intention through the rest of your day. Just be present, just be mindful, just be aware. When you're ready, if you want to, bring the palms together at the third eye. For many, yoga is a spiritual practice, so we always recognize that. And yoga is a community. We're here together. So let's take one more deep collective inhale. And one more big exhale. Thank you so much for letting me lead you in this practice today. Namaste.